Dig Dug, the 1982 Namco classic. Did you know that Dig Dug on the Atari 7800 was the first classic Game Room retro review posted in 1999? Why, this game had barely matured by then. It just got its driver's license. Now it's an absolute classic, and it's easily one of the best arcade games. It's a lot like Pac-Man, which is also from Namco. It doesn't look like Pac-Man, but it's a lot like Pac-Man. We're watching the excellent PlayStation 3 version, which is part of the Namco Museum Essentials, which I've reviewed several times because it comes with 6 awesome games. Dig Dug, Xevious, Xevious Resurrection, Dragon Spirit, Pac-Man, and Galaga. But no Space Gar. Now, one of the things that you can do in Dig Dug that's not so apparent in Pac-Man is that you can come into each level with a predetermined agenda and a plan of attack. At least in the beginning, things change quickly after that, but I like to line up a couple of these guys early and drop rocks on them, because you get the most points for crushing enemies with rocks rather than just inflating them with a bike pump. It's a faster death. It's all about points in Dig Dug. There's risk versus reward. Do you stick your neck out to try to crush all the enemies, or do you just try to get through the level as quickly as possible? Very similar to Pac-Man. Hey guys, follow me. There's some free candy over here. You definitely want to crush multiple enemies at once if you can. Now, like most old school arcade games, gameplay does pick up the pace quickly, and doing anything becomes a lot harder as the levels progress, even staying alive. Dig Dug is one of these games that requires you to change directions quickly, preferably with an arcade joystick, but I'm playing this with the PlayStation 3 standard 6-axis controller using the D-pad. It's not bad. I'd rather have a 400-pound arcade machine with a joystick, but who wouldn't? And I'm going to screw up here and lose a life. While it may not look like it, the playing field is a giant grid, and you can accidentally be facing the wrong direction at the wrong time, which is what happened there. Just like in Pac-Man, if you're trying to go somewhere and then you want to cut down one of the other lanes of the maze, you need to change direction at a precise time. Dig Dug is the exact same way, which is why the game can really only be as good as the controller that you're playing it with. Fortunately, the PS3 controller is pretty good. It's a hell of a lot better for arcade games than the Xbox 360 controller. That thing is terrible for arcade games. Great for driving games and shooters. Sucks for arcade games. I review a lot of controllers on this show, and what I really want to see, and what I think many of you want to see, is one controller that's giant, that works well for arcade games and fighting games. That's pretty much the same kind of controller, like a 200-pound controller that works for both the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. And, of course, it would only cost $20, have perfect, rock-solid build quality, lifetime warranty, and have magic angels that fly out of it when you get a high score. They would be hot angels, of course. This is like a killing frenzy in Dig Dug here, and I'm going to get my high score. Dig Dug is a game that I grew up playing on my Atari 7800. This version on the PlayStation 3 is probably the best version I've seen other than the arcade machine. So while my game will end horribly, painfully, it always sucks to get killed by the last guy on the board. You gotta watch those Figars, they change direction when you're not looking. Highly recommended Namco Museum Essentials. You can even play a trial version of Dig Dug.